Dr. Tom Palmer, it's great to see you today. You've been somebody at the forefront of the fight for freedom for decades against the Soviet Union, against dictatorships across Latin America, Africa, Asia, and you continue that fight today. You're also a very strong supporter of Ukraine. So when you look at this, why is it that somebody far off in America or elsewhere, what does it mean? Why should they care about freedom of somebody else?
The precondition for wanting freedom is not just for me. I want to do what I want to do. That's not so hard for lots of people. It's to recognize other people have the right to be free as well. That's harder. So to love your own freedom, it's not a really great accomplishment. But to love the freedom of other people, that's an achievement. And that is what characterizes modern freedom, is respect for the freedom of other people, as well as the expectation that they will respect mine. That is a modern accomplishment. It's an achievement. It's not just the way things are somehow by nature, a kind of natural equilibrium. And it means that we always have to defend it and fight for it. It can be destroyed. And it is so precious, so wonderful, such an achievement. And so many people gave up so much to achieve it for us. I think we have an obligation to hold on to it, to fight for it, and to oppose those who are actively opposing our liberty.
When you look at those who are fighting for freedom, in the case of Ukraine, those today on the front lines, or those who are in the Maidan, and you look at this and you think of your own, what you've done to promote liberty worldwide, how do you relate to this? What motivates you? What keeps you passionate about this?
I've never liked the idea of people suffering under dictatorship, whether it's a fascist dictatorship or Nazi dictatorship or communist dictatorship or a theocratic dictatorship like in Iran, and the cruelty to which they are exposed. It just isn't right. What I think is remarkable about Ukraine right now is the emergence of an identity that people are fighting for, which is the identity of being a citizen of a free country. It's not just an ethnic identity, like we might say that there's, Germans and Italians are different ethnicities. And so each one would want to be free of domination from the other. It's also the idea of Ukraine as a pluralistic society, that there are Christians, there's Orthodox, there's Greek Catholics, there are some Protestants, there are Muslims, there are Jews, and they can live together in peace and harmony. The key, and I just read it yesterday again, George Washington's letter to the Hebrew congregations is so powerful and so moving. I encourage everyone to just look it up online, in which he was congratulated on being elected president. And there was a little air of, we're grateful that you tolerate us. And his letter is so beautiful. He says it's no more that we speak of toleration in that way, like some kind of a gift. Everyone has the right to be free. And he looks forward to a society in which each one can sit under his own vine and fig tree, and there's no one who can make him afraid. That is what Ukrainians are fighting for. It's that vision that George Washington articulated. I think it's a beautiful vision. And I have known young people who have given their lives for that. And they didn't do it just out of anger. They don't hate Russians. They did it because they want themselves and their families and their neighbors to enjoy freedom and to live a life where there's no one who can make you afraid, as Washington put it.
As you are an American, Americans identify with this concept of freedom, and in their own history, when they were having their fight for freedom, was there as much foreign, let's call it, as Russia would call it, interference, where there's foreign countries becoming involved? What do you think? What do you make of this argument?
I think it's pretty clear, if we do a counterfactual history, that had the French not supported the Americans, they probably would not have achieved independence. So there wouldn't be United States of America, but the assistance of the French fleet and the French army, and of course Lafayette, such an important figure, such an interesting person who really identified with the American cause of liberty. But there were so many others, Kosciuszko, for example, coming from Poland. The Poles have also had, as a part of their historical experience, this love of freedom. And indeed, the slogan from the uprising in 1831 for their independence was, well, I won't say it in Polish because my Polish friends laugh at my bad pronunciation, but we fight for our freedom and yours. And so Poles were willing to fight for the independence of America because they saw these causes as being connected. And that's why so many foreigners interfered, if you will, in America, supporting the cause of American freedom and American independence. And that's why there are so many foreigners, Americans, Canadians, Norwegians, Swiss, Poles, and so on, who stepped up to volunteer and help the Ukrainians as well. Because we understand that our freedoms are interlinked. If Ukraine falls, it will be a catastrophe for the Ukrainians, who will suffer unspeakable crimes. It will also be a catastrophe for us.
Excellent. Tom, I appreciate your time today.
Thank you. Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава.